Well, I'm reading through, and you know what I'm interested in, and it's a long time away, but it makes the college football season that much more interesting. The quarterback class next year is mighty tasty.
It is supposed to be mighty tasty.
You've got Nussmeier.
Yep.
You've got people are actually super excited about Mendoza in the Indiana system.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Drew Aller.
Yeah. John Mateer
at Oklahoma. How much growth is he going to have with his arm and still using his legs? He's a really good athlete. Obviously, you've got Arch Manning in Texas, and I think flying under the radar, but not really, but yes, but kind of not, but going to. Lenora Sellers at South Carolina has an opportunity to be a monster.
You haven't even mentioned the guy who might be the first quarterback taken, which I don't know if I agree with it, but I've seen some mocks already for him next year.
I said Arch Manning.
No, it's not Arch Manning. Because Arch Manning might not come out. He still has 3 years of eligibility left. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he has
3 years?
Yeah, buddy.
They just automatically get 5 now?
Well, he redshirted his first year. He
So
didn't
that's
play.
one.
And then last year he was a redshirt freshman. So he's only a redshirt sophomore this year. So he has redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior.
If he came back.
So I don't know if he will. Him and Dante Moore are very similar. They've each had 1 year where they redshirted and 1 year where they didn't. So they're only redshirt sophomores. They technically have 3 years of eligibility left.
Yeah.
I've seen mocks if Arch is to stay, which, by the way, we're just assuming Arch is great, which I get. He's a very highly touted prospect, but not a guarantee. Cade Klubnik is a guy who I've already seen mentioned in top 5 of mocks for next year.
I don't know where I'm at on Cade Klubnik.
I don't know either. He's a little undersized.
So much.
He's a good athlete. I don't think he's had very good wide receivers. I don't think their offensive system has been very good.
And they finally
portaled. So maybe he has a big, kind of boom year. He very well could be the first quarterback taken in the draft next year.
The one that's Cade Klubnik-esque for me is Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, Kyle Honda McCord goes to Syracuse, and I'm like, oh, good luck there. And he had a great year.
He led the country in passing yards this last year.
So Mendoza going to Indiana and having a real offensive mind coach him is very interesting. I was looking at The Athletic did a first-round mock for next season already.
Yes, I love it. I saw one, by the way, that was a year ago for this year's first round, and it was pretty funny to read through. Like, Carson Beck was the second overall pick.
James Pierce was probably third or fourth.
I think James Pierce was number 1.
Yeah.
Beck was 2. It was like there were 7 names maybe in the top 10 that I don't even know if they got drafted.
Well, I'll reach out because I reached out to Dane Brugler, who does fantastic work for the Athletics draft coverage. He couldn't go. He got back to me. He's like, he actually remembered being on with us. He goes, I'm so sorry. I just don't have time. I said, I'll circle back around maybe after the draft. He wrote this article, so I dove into it yesterday. And would you care to guess who his number 1 pick is?
Number 1 pick. I mean, if Arch Manning comes out, I'm assuming people are going that way.
What team do you think is number 1 in his mock?
Cleveland?
Nope.
No.
The Saints?
The Saints.
How about that?
Manning to the Saints. That'd be pretty spectacular.
Arch going to New Orleans, where his grandpa famously
and maybe
made his
he
name.
does surprise and have a good year and leave. I believe that both – and no, times are different, so apples to oranges, I get it. I believe both Peyton and Eli used up all of their eligibility before going to the NFL. Peyton was a big deal when he came back.
Though.
I get it, but he's also from a very financially well-off family.
Oh, money's not a problem.
He went to a place where he knew he was going to sit for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's just going to say, man, I'm having fun at Texas. Let me develop for another year if he has a good year. He's a very interesting young kid.
How much of Lenore Sellers did you watch last year?
I watched a ton of Lenora Sellers, man. He's an extremely talented athlete.
Crazy good
He's
athlete.
well-sized. He's 6'3", I want to say 220. Like, he's well-built. He's got a good arm. And one of the more underrated athletes at quarterback in the country.
His family athlete history is pretty crazy, too. His dad was an NBA player.
I didn't know that.
And his sister
Brad Sellers?
Yeah, and his sister just got drafted in the WNBA.
That's a hell of a family right there.
She was a beast.
They call those good genes right there.
So he's somebody I'm really looking forward to watch South Carolina. I poo-pooed them last year. They had a much better season than I thought that they would, and partly because he was really stinking good. I'm really curious. He's number 2 on the mock draft for next year.
They were a borderline playoff team last year, and one of their losses was to LSU, and they got absolutely hosed in that game.
Drew Aller is number 5 to Cleveland.
He's got all the physical traits.
He absolutely does.
And he played well in I'll give him credit. I think we've been a little hard on him because he came in as a number 1 quarterback blue chip prospect kind of guy.
I thought he was really good in the Big Ten title
game. He was
game.
really good other than the pick that he threw at the end of the game, which I didn't agree with that decision because I think it was on 1st and 10. But when you got a guy who's 6'5", can move the way that he can move, has the arm strength that he does, like, scouts are going to drool.
He's going to be
in
a position to be the number 1 pick.
Very well could be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Number 10 on the mock. This is where dirt shows up. Would you care to guess who number 10 is to New England?
I still have eligibility left. Am I going 10th overall? PIL legend. They taking me?
Brugler says the NFL doesn't draft 5'5" guys.
Well, Dylan Gabriel got taken, so I don't know about that.
Touche.
Hey, ding!
Well, you're on a run today.
I'm going to go
Bad
Mateo.
day for
Is
Sprague.
Mateo going 10th overall?
Mateo.
Yeah.
Mateo.
I'd be shocked if he's not a first-round pick.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he's going to have a really good season.
It's a question of how high does he go.
If you scroll down a little bit and not very far, coming in at number 18,
Dylan Thieneman?
Kenyon Sadiq.
Kenyon Sadiq. He's not leaving. He's
Denver.
staying. He's staying the entire time. Don't leave me, Kenyon.
He gone.
Don't do it, man.
The hype is already there. He's number 18 in
He
the
is
mock.
baby Brock Bowers. We tried to warn you.
Yes.
I've seen Thieneman get mocked as a first-round pick.
He is not in this one.
I've seen Evan Stewart mock, which I don't agree with
He
him
is
being
not
a
in
first-round.
this
Yeah,
one.
so I mean they got a chance for 2 or 3
They
guys.
can move up some of those guys, but they're not on.
Mateo
this
would be
mock.
the highest drafted kid.
Actually, I apologize. Evan Stewart was 31st. I
don't-
forgot about that.
He's very good. I don't know if I would draft him in the first round, but to each their own.
Who do you think's gonna have a better year? Kind of got my gears turning
For the quarterbacks in this class?
No, Mateo and Sadiq.
That's hard to compare because Mateo led the Big Ten in sacks last year as a true sophomore. So he had a monster season. He's almost like set the bar very high for himself that if you don't, I don't know, that's a hard one to leap over again.
Well, what's his weakness to you?
I don't know if he has one. I think he's
How was he in
developed a ton.
rush defense for you?
He wasn't great as a freshman. He was much better as a sophomore.
Yeah.
He's only bigger. He's only stronger. And so he's going to be a 3-down defensive lineman unquestionably throughout the entirety of the season.
I think Sadiq is.
I think Sadiq will have a
year.
better year, though.
Yeah.
He's going to be the number one weapon in their offense. I know that we joke about the spring game stuff. It's not just what he did and the numbers. It's just the sheer physical presence that he has. He doesn't make sense.
6'3", 245.
He's just like he looks like a defensive lineman, and he hurdled a guy in the secondary. He jumped like 6 feet in the air in the spring game this weekend, and you're just. I don't get it. He flies. He's huge. He is a one-of-one athlete, and so if he can stay healthy this upcoming season, I mean, they jokingly said they want to give him 100 touches this year. I think that's what they want to do. So he's going to have a monster season.
If Dante has a good year, do you think he's somebody that leaves?
He could, yeah. I wouldn't blame him at all if he did. If
Well,
he
I don't
pops
blame
this year.
anybody for
No,
leaving.
if he has a good year this year,
That'd
we've
be
seen
crazy to have another new quarterback.
it would be pretty wild to have to
Austin
start
Novosad,
over again.
hello.
Who's next in line? Achilles Smith Jr. Maybe it's the
Yeah,
Jared Curtis
touche.
kid who's coming in, hopefully, and being a true freshman. I don't know who it would be. But a lot of these guys are interesting. Bo Nix had the chance after one good year at Oregon, could have gone, decided to come back, played himself into a first-round pick.
That really worked out well for him.
It absolutely did. Dante Moore, I think, because of his physical attributes, if he does have a good year, he'll be a first-round pick because of his size and his arm strength.
The crazy thing is going through this and seeing like Nussmeier is 16th, and I'm just like,
I'm a big Nussmeier guy.
I think I think legitimately outside of Mendoza and maybe Klubnik, all these dudes could hit.
We didn't even mention Sam Levitt, who had a good year, who's back again at Arizona State.
Touche,
It's a
Sam
very
Levitt.
good quarterback class this year.
I think there's a real possibility. It's similar to what not this year's draft, but last year's draft is.
Yeah.
You get that many quarterbacks.
And I think that was the thought going into this year for the draft for me, was some of these teams deciding, should we take a guy or not? I don't have an issue with the Giants taking
Think
quarterback.
about how many teams could be in the quarterback market next
That's what
year.
I'm saying, man. Like, and all of these guys, look, again, you have no clue how all of their years are going to go and if they will live up to the hype. If Arch will have a good year and then leave. If guys like Dante Moore, will Drew Aller take another step? Will Klubnik be good? Sellers was good for 1 year. Can he go do it again? I like Nussmeier, but can he stop turning the ball over? Levitt popped last year. Will it happen again? Like, there's a lot of question marks, but if it does live up to the hype, it was one of the biggest reasons why I looked at teams this year and said, man, I don't know about a first-round quarterback. Would you rather have Drew Aller or Jackson Dart? That's just, to me, I'd rather have Drew Aller.
There's like 6 to 7 teams I'm counting that could be in the quarterback market next draft.
This is the interesting thing about every draft. And I was remembering last year for the offseason Hard Knocks, the Giants were going through this for the draft, and they were going through year by year back to 2014 when they were deciding, do we take a quarterback with the Malik Neighbors pick? And they went all the way back to 2014, and they were like trying to calculate how many quarterbacks hit, how many classes ended up living up to the hype. And Dayball had a great quote where he was looking at, this is again last year's class, so Williams and May and Daniels and Nix and all those guys. And he said, is this the Herbert, Tua, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts draft class? Or is this the Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Baker, who I know has found it, but like,
right.
What class? And you just have no idea.
Yeah.
And so that's where it makes it so challenging to see. But you got to decide if you love one of these guys.